Wait a minute. I'd like to propose a toast to my family. Someday soon, you're gonna have families of your own. And if you're lucky, you remember the little moments. Like this. That were good. Cheers.
Hello, this is Austin Carter, and you're listening to the Good Times right now.
Hey, buddies. This is Good Times, brought to you by the Don Carlos Taco Shop, located in beautiful La Jolla, California. When you're in Encino, stop by Domingo's Italian Deli. And I'm going to start giving a unofficial sponsor to Caveman Coffee, because they're so good. I'm addicted to it, and I'm all upset I don't have one right now because I left it at home.
Which one do you like? I know they have like the small little cans.
Yeah, small little cans. Tate hooked me up last week. I'm going to be on his podcast.
That's like I have a lot of things about me that I think relate to Good Times. I'm still very goofy, but that's like the most maybe childish thing about me is I've had maybe 2 sips of coffee in my entire life.
That's hysterical.
I don't know. I remember even as a kid, I've always loved the smell of coffee.
It's one of the best smells
in life. Oh my God. I would love, I don't have candles, but I would get a coffee candle. But
oh my goodness. Can I talk? All right.
Go for it.
You know what I got at Christmas?
Tell me.
My buddy David and his family, they sent me a candle that smells like Fruit Loops.
Why are you just telling me this now, Steve? I think we need to leave the studio.
It's the best. Because like carrying out all these girl candles that I was like, ugh, I don't want these in my room anymore.
What a girl's like, oh.
So I was like, ugh. And I just put them out guests could, I don't know, I don't want them in my room.
No.
But then I was like, I know what candle I want. And it's the best part of waking up is delicious Fruit Loop smell.
Now, be honest, how many times have you turned the candle on and then in 20 minutes, you're like, okay, I have to go get some cereal now?
You know what? I haven't even lit it yet. That's how extra delicious the smell is.
Oh, you're just smelling. Oh,
you don't even have to light it because it's like one of those high-end Cool Kid candles.
What was your?
What the hell are we talking about candles for? I feel like Dean Del Rey.
I'm gonna go into more important things. Cereal. What was your big? Because I didn't have a lot of cereal growing up. My mom was one of those terrible moms that always made breakfast. So what was like your sugary go-to cereal?
It would vary. It would depend on the prize in the box, and then I would go through cycles. Like I've always been an Apple Jacks fan.
Apple Jacks are great.
They're incredible. But I will say this. When they started to replace the real sugar with high fructose corn syrup, the stuff just doesn't taste as good as it once did.
Are you saying that the cereal that I grew up with doesn't even match? Like the cereal, it's almost like real Coke versus...
Yeah, it's exactly the same thing. Because there was Boo Berry, Frankenberry, Count Chocula. That stuff, loved Monsters when I was like 5, 6 years old. So and Boo Berry was very difficult. It was usually Count Chocula they had. I was never a strawberry guy. But if you could score Boo Berry, that was a home run. Peanut Butter Captain Crunch, if you weren't too hungry so it didn't cut the roof of your mouth.
See, I never got it to cut the roof. All these things, I always felt left out. And all these kids said, it cuts the roof of your mouth. I think because I wasn't really allowed to have like sugary, I like boring cereal. Like my favorite cereal is Life cereal. I think Life
Cinnamon Life.
Oh,
might be the best thing.
It is the best. Thank you.
Cinnamon Life. I'll put that up against anything. Like my cheat day's coming up.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get Cinnamon Life, and I already have what is it? Almond Toast Crunch or no?
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
No, not Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Okay. Almond. It's like a grown-up kid cereal. It's like almond.
You know what's good? Kashi Gullian Crunch. That's really good. But I really like Life cereal, but even more than that, for treats and cheats, Paul and I figured this out a while ago. cereal is an amazing. You get more for your calories. I feel like.
Yeah, but you know what it is? It's just all a bowl of sugar. It's all, even if it's just because it's the simple carbs.
Right.
It's like if you eat a bowl of pasta, that's the same thing as a bowl of sugar. You eat a bowl of Life, you might as well have Frosted Flakes, which is, I loved Frosted Flakes milk when I was a kid. That was probably the premier sugar milk, that and Apple Jacks.
I was never a sugar milk person.
Oh.
I can't get into it.
It's my favorite.
I feel like I messed out. I occasionally, if I had like the Cocoa Puffs or whatever, maybe chocolate milk.
Yeah, Cocoa Puffs. My little brother loved Cocoa Puffs. And I remember when I was 5, I remember Cookie Crisp cereal, which was just essentially little chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, yeah. Those are great.
So good.
I think Cinnamon Toast Crunch might be my personal favorite.
You know what? I don't know if I've ever had it. You know what? For cheat day, I'll buy some.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely getting...
Life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's disappointing. That's the same as Frosted Flakes. Maybe I'll just get Froot Loops now. I want to go find these cereal
because
candles.
like all those simple carbs, it's just your body, even if it's not sugar, your body turns it to sugar. Because like now that I'm on this diet, like I'm noticing a difference.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I can see a difference. It takes a while, but
that's awesome. You had something amazing happen this week.
so many amazing things. You know what? We'll hit all that in the gratitude list.
Okay, got it.
I just want to thank everybody for listening to the podcast right now. Thank you guys. We have a great episode with my buddy Gareth. He has an incredible podcast called The Dollop. And you can find him. You can find Gareth on Twitter at Reynolds Gareth. That's R-E. I get so dyslexic. I get scared whenever I have to read out loud. REYNOLDS Gareth. Gareth. And I remember Gareth is one of those dudes that like the second I met, I was like, oh, did we just become best friends?
I've heard that about him. I've heard
He's super cool.
I'm really good friends with Vicky Pezza, who he actually does another podcast called Point Vs Point.
Oh, he gets to do a podcast with Vicky.
Vicky is she's on the producing side of it, but it has Evan Mann. Apparently, it's hysterical.
That's awesome.
I'm excited for this one because I've heard Gareth is like the next big. You hear that a lot, but I've heard he's like the next one to blow up.
Yeah,
from what
great.
I've heard, I can't wait to listen.
Absolutely great. Let's get into it, then we'll come back and do a gratitude list. All right, let's hang out with my buddy, Mr. Gareth Reynolds.
You got a real knot over there.
Dude, it doesn't matter. Oh, yeah, it does matter.
Oh wait, it's just caught there. Here, move the. There we go.
Now I'll move here. Dude, I'm already recording the podcast because I hate when people make it like too produced. I just want
Oh
to hang
really?
out.
You jump
Yeah.
in? That's
Yeah.
good. All right, I like that.
Yeah.
We
the best.
started.
Yeah, it already happened.
That's amazing. Hi, Steve.
How are you, buddy?
Good. How are you? See, I produced it.
Yeah, right away you got nervous. You're like, we're being recorded.
Welcome to Good Times with your host, Steve Simeone. You're going to love this guy.
How are you, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm very glad to be on your show because we've talked about this for
literally years, probably.
Yeah, probably 18 months to 2.5 years, I'd say.
Yeah. Every time I see you, I'm like, oh, I have to hang out with Gareth more.
Yeah, I know. There are, I think that is one of the things about LA is that you are so not self-focused in like an unhealthy way, but you're constantly like kind of doing your own thing, especially when you do comedy. Like there's people that you love that when you see, you're like, yes,
this is the best.
We should see each other, more. And it's,
you know what it is that I don't think if I didn't pursue this with my life, I wouldn't have understood. We work so hard for the opportunity to get paid for some of that work.
Yeah.
Like we're always like hanging out. I'll write that for free.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go do your podcast for free.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go to the show tonight for free.
Yep.
All in the hopes that after 20 years of working for free, somewhere along the line, you're going to get paid for it.
My aunt, uncle, and mother, they live in England. My whole family's English, and they
So cool. We'll get into that.
adorable. And they all were here, and we had a great time. This was, they were here. They got here probably 6 weeks ago, and they stayed for like 4.5 weeks.
That is, Europeans know how to take a vacation. Take a holiday.
Well, and also I was in England, and my family saw a helicopter. They live in a small town, and my family saw a helicopter, and you would have thought that Mick Jagger was like in the sky.
So
like
cool.
They were starstruck, and I was like, I have like three above me at all. Like I have like an alarming amount in my life.
Yeah.
You know, so they, I mean, truly the value of like coming to LA was, I mean, they just love it every day. Literally every day they're talking about it. But when I went to do a show that my uncle came to, he was trying to kind of process where the money was for me in going and doing that.
Yeah.
And I was kind of just trying to explain like, oh, you know, you don't, like a lot of the times you just do this just because you're for love of the game or you're working on it or it's a good show or exposure, whatever. You know, there's in LA, you're not really focused on getting paid for the shit.
No, you just hope it all works out somehow.
And
it
that is
does.
kind of what it
always
is. It's like an internship essentially, and you hope you get hired, you know?
Yeah, that's it. Like we just got a raise at the Comedy Store, which is one of the...
Is that weed whacker going to bother you?
Not at all.
Okay, all right.
I stuff like that makes me just think it's more real.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. We can add some stuff in post, too. Maybe some, like, parrots and birds.
Well, I heard a pterodactyl.
Yeah. We get crazy.
Yeah.
There was a tank?
Did you ever see that old Brian Regan bit about the nerd that called in at the... Because they add in bird sounds on... I think it was CBS, one of the stations that plays golf, the PGA.
Uh-huh.
There was a sound in the background like doo, 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 and some bird nerd busted them and he was like, there's no way that bird was in that region, and Regan's got a whole...
It's too humid.
Yeah, Regan's got a whole bit on why that wasn't the bird. Oh, it's so good.
That's
it's
amazing.
So good.
But that happens all the time. I remember there was something on you know, like the way that the way reality gets tweaked through our media's
so
dynamite.
silly.
There was, I forget what it was,
and we're all catching on to it now. Like, wait a second,
I know.
Everybody's lying.
But there was something with Hurricane Katrina, I believe, and the Today Show had sent a reporter out there, and they were throwing to her, and she was like, you know, the water is 8 foot deep. She's in a canoe. So she's sitting like in a canoe or like a little raft or whatever.
Yeah.
Probably not a canoe. A canoe probably doesn't make sense.
Way cooler. I always wanted one as a kid.
I'm remembering it as a canoe. Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, why can't I go to summer camp and have a canoe?
Oh man, they were the best. So she's kayaking. No, she's in like some raft, and she's like, the water is 8 feet deep. And as they're talking to her on the scene, somebody walks by behind her through the water that she's saying is 8 feet deep, and they're just like, sorry, Kathy, but someone just walked behind you.
Yep.
I mean, you know,
it's the silliest thing ever.
Yeah, and
I mean, people in front of green screens.
Oh,
they're acting like they're on the scene.
Yeah,
come on, bro.
Yeah, and the idea of being on the scene.
Yeah, what?
Like they have nothing anymore. The news has nothing to provide anymore because they're always saying that there's breaking news, but Twitter is breaking news. Like they don't have the angle they need anymore.
So interesting. That's so true.
Yeah. So now what they do is, that's why breaking news is always up on that shit. They are so like, they're like, come on, man. I swear to God, it's breaking news, man. Something's happening. And the breaking news
they're
is
making
just
buggy
like,
whips.
Yeah, totally.
They're making buggy whips.
Making buggy whips.
What movie was that where Danny DeVito gave that speech? And he was like, and I bet the last guy to make a buggy whip made the best.
Yeah.
He was talking about innovation.
Yeah.
And cars.
Yeah.
So
I can't remember. He's been
Dude, he's
probably
awesome.
been
Everything
that
about
guy
him is
19
awesome.
times. Yeah.
So what I love most, two things to get us back to what you were talking about. Number one, you were talking about how many awesome people there are in LA to hang out with.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God, how great of a problem is that?
Oh, it's
like
great.
There's so many awesome people you want to hang out with.
Yeah. And people who you like I hung out with Joe DeRosa last weekend for the first time in a long time, and then I watched his special last night, and it was
Congratulations, Mr. DeRosa, by the way.
It was so fucking funny, and I was like, you know, you can be like pals with people that you are like
it's
fans
the best.
Of, you know, it's pretty great.
That's why I did this podcast.
Yeah.
I remember years and years ago when I was going through my really lean years at the Comedy Store, and I'm like, why do I do this? And I was like trying to figure out like what were the positives. And I was like, the friends I have and the conversations I have. I'm like, this is amazing. Like that back door at the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
Like whether it's a celebrity or somebody that's just so like, it doesn't matter. Just interesting, cool, fun conversations. And I'm like, oh, now I get to share that with the world.
Yeah. Well, you always had even when during your lean years, because I feel like I knew you then, but it always seemed like you were on the track, like you had a plan, and your plan has worked.
Yeah, and the plan was just to simply enjoy life.
Well, the plan,
do you know
was
what I
to
mean?
Just get in the blood,
yeah,
you know, and spread. And you have, right? I mean, like that is one thing I am like, I don't go to the Comedy Store that much. But,
You should. It's so fun now.
dude. Every time I go there, I'm like, it is
the best.
I know.
Dude,
It's great.
Chris Rock did his new hour there last night.
Crazy.
And I was like,
Yeah,
loving it.
yeah,
Rick Rubin walked by me, and I was just, it's the best.
I mean, think about that.
Joe Rogan had the funniest line ever. Some lady was heckling him or whatever, and it's just so sad when there's people that need attention and
That tells you how
alcohol's
good
involved.
things are at the Comedy Store. Rogan is getting heckled. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like there's no duds to heckle.
No. Well, the lady was just drunk and obnoxious and out of line. But then you know who Adam Egget is?
Oh yeah,
He's the best, right?
the best.
For whatever reason, the door guys must not be. I don't know what happened, but Adam Egget goes over to be quiet, and Rogan just looks down and he goes, "That's the bouncer. This is the security we're working
Yeah,
with."
yeah.
And he goes, "Thank God on me. If I was Bobby Lee, I'd be shitting my pants right now." The greatest. So funny.
That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, well, Adam is like a big part of the reason why that place
For
is,
sure.
turned around. Not even turned around, but just sort of re-peaked.
So fun.
Yeah,
You gotta
Crazy.
hang out more.
I know,
Hanging out's
yeah.
my favorite thing in life, by the way.
I know. It is. It's just. It's like it is. It is such a scene. I like as when you don't go there enough. You are when you do go there. It is a overwhelming experience. Like
Yeah.
because you're just like shit. Look at all these people I sort of know, and then all these people that I love who would have no idea who I am and know that I'm probably staring.
Yeah, but it's so fun.
I know.
Hanging out's the best.
Do you don't live walking from there?
No, I used to. I live out in the valley now.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, and I don't regret my decision.
Where in the valley?
Sherman Oaks.
Oh, okay.
Love it.
Oh, yeah, because that's where I saw it. That's right.
Yeah,
because
right down the
that's where I
street from
saw
where
it.
you're working with the cool kids on
Right.
writing stuff.
Yes, right. Yes, that makes sense now that you would be walking there. Right.
Yeah.
I think we already had this conversation at some point, but yeah.
The best.
Yeah. You love it out there?
Yeah.
What do you
Good
got?
food.
Yeah.
There's better, I love fat family restaurants
What is
where you're
that?
like, all you can,
Give me an example.
Pizza places with red and white checker cloths, career waitresses, not some girl
Sure.
that's mad that she's not famous.
Right.
So great customer
Actual
service,
restaurants.
big portions.
Right. Okay.
They know how to put a booster seat in for a baby.
Right.
People aren't like,
'Cause
what's this
sometimes-
little person? That's called a child.
Okay, that's not for you. That's for the child. Okay,
Yeah.
yes.
But you know what I mean? And ample parking.
Right.
Maybe a video game or one of those claw machines when you walk in.
So but that's, I mean, and I'm like that too. That connects to, I mean, it is weird when you live in LA to, that there's so many places that you could say don't feel like real restaurants.
No.
Yeah. But I think that whenever I whenever I go back to Wisconsin, I'm always like, man, there's just the simplicity to all of it. The parking,
Yes.
the experience, the people, there to actually serve
Enjoy
you. The
life.
chef
Yeah,
gives
it's
a
great.
shit.
Everybody playing their role in life
Yeah.
and not mad that they're not playing something else.
I know. Yeah. That is one of the rubs of LA.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all
I
right.
love Wisconsin, by the way.
Do you go back to Philly a lot?
Going next week. Can't wait.
You just put out a new album too, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a charity event for Claude Giroux, captain of the Flyers.
Oh wow, that's great.
So I'm so excited.
That's awesome. How often are you on the road now?
Not that much. I was in the fall. And then I got kind of burnt out.
You did.
Yeah.
That is the thing, right? Like
Yeah.
you want to be you want to go on the road a lot, and then you start going on the road a lot. You're like, oh fucker.
Well, it makes everything else difficult.
You mean your life in LA, or
Yes.
yes, totally.
It makes doing the podcast difficult.
Yeah.
It makes writing difficult. It makes
Well, if you do back to back, anytime you do back to back weekends, your time at home
You're in-
is spent prepping to get out again.
yeah, you just have enough time to do laundry and go.
do laundry. Yeah, unpack, do laundry, repack.
Yeah, and you're not going to be hanging out at the Comedy Store having laughs
No.
with your buddies. You're going to be at home just
You're
sleeping.
sweating the whole time you're home.
Yeah.
I sweat. I mean, the amount how I would say 50% of the time that I am either driving or lifting. Sorry, not Ubering to the airport. I have beads of sweat coming down my face.
Yeah.
From a mad dash of some kind.
Yes.
Some fuck up.
Yeah, I'm trying to avoid living like that, but it's so difficult. Just give myself more time, slow everything down.
Right. Yeah. But still, I mean, that's why podcasting is such a great thing too.
It is great.
Because it is a way to, it's that's why I started doing stand up, was because I had done a lot of other shit, but I like when I moved out here, I wanted to perform more and shit like that, but then I just ended up working more behind the scenes on stuff just because I have a face for radio. But I was like, why I started doing stand up was I was like, there's a way there to at least like connect, make points, have get laughter, feel good from laughter, feel good from making people laugh, and podcasting is a version of that too. Without the immediate reaction, but there's nobody who can tell you anything. And the thing that is so great about stand and watching people stand up is that it's all in your head. It's all the shit that you think that you've come up with. That's why it's like, it is so, I mean, it's insane if you think about it. Like, you go to the Comedy Store and everybody there, has a bunch of things in their head that they're ready to tell with their angle on it at the drop of a fucking dime.
Yeah, it's the coolest thing ever.
Crazy culture.
So awesome.
Yeah, but podcasting is the way to it is another way to let people know,
it's the other side of the same coin.
Yeah. And the connection people feel to podcasts that they like is
so great.
I'm probably, I'm not that I'm a great stand-up, but the connection is very strong to a podcast.
Oh, it's
people
amazing.
Really connect. People really
they get to hang out with us.
Yeah.
Like, I want this podcast to just seem like one of my buddies is sitting right here. They're listening, but they're here in the room with us, just hanging out.
Yeah. No, and I like that. That is what is so. And when you listen to them too, like when I listen to them,
that's the point. It's like a gift. It's like when you're talking about being in that car on the way to the airport, sweating. I want people to listen to this when they're stuck in traffic on the way to the place they don't really want to go, and just sort of enjoy the hang.
Yeah, it really is like the traffic breaker. Mm-hmm. Like, a good podcast is the thing that you're like, all right, fine. Like the thing, like if you're listening to something really interesting and you're waiting in your car when you've already parked for a moment to get
that's
that's how you know that you're listening to some good shit.
It's speaking of good shit. Let's get into it.
Okay,
Wisconsin.
Yeah,
whereabouts? What was it like?
Milwaukee, Brown Deer, but in Milwaukee County. And,
okay, so how far from like where the Brewers play?
Probably about a 15-minute ride.
Perfect.
Yeah. So just suburby, kind of. Brown Deer's a little like, I don't want to say white trashy, but if you went to the bowling alley, it would sort of look.
People would be jealous.
Oh, dude, you got some cats in those bowling alleys. We used to call them cats. Mullets that are. I mean, it's true. I mean, mullet. However, the mullet has fully thrived and survived. How that is not a thing that we look back on and go like, "What the hell was that?" Like that, there's still in existence.
Yeah.
The mullet has really fought the odds, and Wisconsin is a big part of it because it's like that. I had one.
Oh, please, and I'm going to take a picture of this picture and tweet it out. Oh,
and that's nothing.
My God, what grade is this?
That's probably 5th or 6th grade.
Oh, it's so perfect.
I mean, that is the real deal. But I had it for a while, but it like for whatever reason it has sustained. You go to a bowl. We used to go to Brown Deer Lanes and bowl. And
how many lanes were at Brown Deer?
Probably like 15. But again, I mean, you're never not gonna get a lane.
Okay.
Like there even if it's like popping. Like there's always room. And they like I started smoking cigarettes, like a little shit when I was seriously probably smoking cigarettes when I was like 14, right?
Wow.
So me and my buddies would be in the bowling alley just like burning heaters, just like drying our hands on the fan and just putting spin on the balls.
Did you have like a crew of guys that you would go bowling with then? Who were they?
Just
first names. You don't have to.
I'm going to give their addresses if that's okay. My best friend from Wisconsin is this buddy of mine named Brett Stepke.
Oh, real names, they just resonate. You're just like, yes, I know there's a soul attached to that name.
This is he like is a guy that I met in the 3rd grade.
Okay,
and we just instantly hit it off and have just remained very close since the 3rd grade, and so like there is something so amazing when you have that history with someone like
it's
that.
Irreplaceable.
It's irreplaceable. You cannot replicate that. Like the fact that that I played kickball with the kid, and like we've gotten detention together. And there was a time when Mr. Leshke threw
Who's
us
Mr.
out of
Leshke?
the music teacher threw us out of choir class and put us both in the hall, and we were able to communicate. So he put Brett in his office and left me in the hall, and we were able to communicate through a vent.
That is
and
awesome.
He caught us doing that, and he was like, "What do I have to do to get you guys to stop talking to each other and doing bits?" And it was just bits. That's all we would do. Were just bits.
Like, give me an example.
We would. Just like you do now. Like we very hypothetical charactery shit.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like where we would either invent a guy and play out the situation together.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and we had like the same brain. We even say that today. That I'm like, well, we just have very similar thoughts and like operate very similarly still. And a guy that like when I go back, it's a no brainer. I just like crash with him.
So great.
Yeah, and it's there's probably 2 weeks a year still where we are spending pretty much every day together. Like, either if I'm back there for stand up and he comes and kicks it, or if he takes a trip out here and just comes out for 4 or 5 days and we just hang out. Like, we still do that shit.
It's the greatest.
Yeah.
Friends are the best thing in life.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, that is that's the sort of stuff that you can't live without. I mean, that's the sort of thing that I think really makes Los Angeles a place where you can live, is really the friends that you have, like the people that you like. If you're still able to have like really, really good friends, and there's so many people here who are assholes and just totally don't get it, but they're just lost. So many great people, and the more of those that you have in your life, you can live anywhere. I mean, you can live anywhere where you got a lot of friends.
It's the truth. It's because that's all there is hanging out. It's like every time I pass like a giant mansion, I'm like, if there's any love in that place, it's because they're around the kitchen table eating ice cream, making fun of each other. Yeah, and you can do that anywhere.
There's this documentary, this minimalism documentary.
My girlfriend was telling me about that. She was like, "Steve, it's like so up your alley. Everything you talk about,
you'd really like it. The two dudes that sort of shepherd you through the world. Yeah, a little bit of a beating at times. They're a little
too much.
Yeah, they really hug. They like to hug everybody, which that's fine. Yeah. The 14th time it's in there, you're like,
yeah, dude, we get this is what you do.
Shake a fucking hand, will you?
Yeah. And it's also like dropping catchphrases, like in a sitcom. Yeah. Just give me one. Yeah. Let it resonate.
Yeah. And come on. Everybody's got to you're going to get sick. You're going to get more sick. But one of the things that they talk about is, how having people stay with you, like sharing space with people, like being like a gracious host.
Yeah.
That sort of is a good way to continue to have like human connection, like have people like, so they have basically the reason why that's brought up is because they're staying in these places that you can move the walls around and you can kind of convert rooms so that you have a smaller place, but you can still have access to sort of all the rooms.
Oh, that's cool.
And it talks about that, and that, that is totally true. I mean, it's like,
yeah, we need each other. Yeah. We drive each other crazy, but we also, it's like one giant global family. Yeah. Like we drive each other crazy, but we need each other.
Yeah. No, we really are. We are one hilarious sitcom. Mm-hmm. The world.
Yeah, it's adorable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes I just watch people interact, and depending on how much sleep I got, where I am emotionally, something that would normally drive me crazy, I have enough distance from it, and I'm just like, how cute's this guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
He really thinks that BMW and cutting people off is the way to go through life. He's so cute.
I had a guy 2 days ago, like, cut me off so insanely.
Yeah.
Like just like a person who was just like, we'll have an accident unless you prevent it.
Yes.
Sort of move.
Yeah.
And so I slammed on the brakes and I honked, and then he gave me the finger.
Right.
And I was like, what
so lost.
kind of human? I remember too, one time I'd gone to England to visit my mother. And
people there, by the way, are delightful.
And this is, to that point, I was just astounded at how driving was worked there. And I don't know why it had never sunk in like this.
Yeah.
But the the arguments are like, you go, no, you go, like truly. And so I had just gone there for like a week or something, and I'd just gotten back to LA. I'd just gotten my car, and as I was driving home, I was at a 4-way stop sign, and you know, just again, a clear infraction. A gentleman just went when it was my turn.
That happened to me 30 minutes ago when I was trying to find your place.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? You didn't even stop, bro.
And I honked, and then he gave me the finger. And I was like, what the, how?
It's, you know what, it's so sad. It's part of the reason why, like, I started to shape my comedic persona more to, like,
the sweetest individual in the world?
yeah, because I remember holding the door open for somebody, and they looked at me like I spit in their face. And I'm like, you're the one being selfish.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you're like, in a normal, where I grew up, everybody holds the door for each other. You just pass it like a baton.
Yeah.
And you smile and you make eye contact.
Yeah.
But they just walked through like Kanye West's Entourage.
Like,
and looked at me like I was a jerk.
Yeah.
And it's like when you're being polite and you're being treated, you're the victim and they're giving you the finger. They're just so lost.
It's hard to keep the polite fire going in these times.
It is.
You
Well,
know?
we have to bring back communities. We have to bring back family. We have to bring back being a parent.
Yeah.
Nobody's getting raised anymore. That's the set, and it's their anger. It's their anger of not feeling lovable that makes them selfish, and then give you the finger on top of it.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Yeah,
they're walking around not getting what they need.
Yeah, and I think when it's and I guess it's just kind of the time you live in. It like part of the aging process is the reflection of it, and
for sure.
You've seen some of this shit before,
yep.
And you just learn more because you've read more and you've watched more and all that. But when I think about it, I'm like, the way like in the 60s, there's obviously, outside of the cultural problems, outside of like, obviously there were race problems and there was anti-feminism and, there was still war going on. But as far as like what we had access to distract us and how focused were on our world and sort of the people around us and our access to goods and shit like that. It was a really very good, maybe the best era, because it was like you had enough and that was good. And everything was kind of growing and it was exciting.
Yeah.
But it still wasn't crazy and there still wasn't huge disparity
not overwhelming,
between what you had and what rich people
I think the middle class peaked somewhere in the late 70s.
And you like it just seems like even when I was a kid growing up, like you were like fine in the middle. You were like in the middle.
There's no more middle.
Yeah, so it was fine. And
this
I
is
had a
what's
lot of
frightening.
rich friends.
Right.
But I was still
okay.
fine.
I still had a
and
bike,
jealous
man.
Of shit, but I was still fine. And there was no like
think about this. Think about how many people, like where I grew up, we were in the middle. So I knew kids that had trust funds.
Yeah.
I also knew kids who had nothing.
Yeah.
Literally nothing.
Yeah.
But everybody sort of had a home.
Yeah.
Everybody had food.
Right.
Everybody, I was talking to my girlfriend
entertainment,
about
access to all the same shit.
Dude, and think
Go to
about
the
this. And
movies,
I'm the
could order
last
pizzas
generation.
Yeah.
I remember adults didn't work 70 hours a week. We work around the clock. They worked 40 hours a week. There was, and generally, and I'm not saying this to be anti-feminist. I'm just saying this is how it was, okay? One person earning the money for the house. One person.
Yeah.
And people lived comfortably off of one salary where somebody worked 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
Now you have double income.
Yeah.
Everybody's working at least 60 hours a week. And everybody's going paycheck to paycheck from what I can see.
Well, and that isn't because you're saying one person could do enough work for the household.
Correct.
Which I mean, and again, the like deterioration of that shit is so gradual that's why we can't probably process it and get outraged enough.
Yeah. It's the frog in the boiling water.
Yeah, it's like how you age.
Turn it up
you
slowly.
don't like if I looked in the mirror at myself and I was 23 and I saw my face now, I'd be like, Jesus Christ.
You're absolutely right.
But I've slowly it's so gradual that you don't notice the shit. And that's the same with how we've like cinched it all a little together too much, and there's now not a middle group.
Yep. And you know what I'm so excited about?
Huh.
I think it's coming back. I think,
do?
Yeah, I think kindness is coming back. I think caring is coming back.
Yeah.
Because we've gone so far in the one direction.
Right.
And I think people are going to people aren't happy. Take it from the most selfish point of view. People aren't happy right now. We're not happy. Right. I feel it. I say it on stage. Audiences, it resonates with them.
It's truth.
So it's like, how do you become happy? You try something else. And it's not the materialism. It's not designer clothes. Because that's the other thing, too. When I think back to this idealistic version of my childhood where Mr. Murray worked at IBM and Mrs. Murray was the school nurse when we got older. But, like, people had normal homes. They weren't trying to live in mansions. They weren't trying to go on European vacations. They weren't driving luxury cars. Like, I was flabbergasted when I moved to this city 17 years ago. And at red lights, intersections, I would just count Mercedes, BMWs. I'm like, everybody in this city's rich.
Yeah.
Where I grew up, if somebody could, I knew kids who 30 years ago, their parents were making millions.
Yeah.
But they were driving Chevys.
Yeah.
They weren't trying to impress anybody.
No.
And now everybody's so sad. They're trying to impress you with the clothes they wear, the cars they drive, and the restaurants they eat at.
The shift is really, there's this documentary called Hypernormalism.
Cool.
That you can watch online. It's fucking long, but it's just really fascinating because it's just kind of like the cliff notes of all the stuff you see now. Where did it start? Like, what is the seed of that? Like, Middle East drama. Like, how did that start? And, how did Wall Street become such a big deal for us? And all this stuff. But you really learn like that. We have just started to kind of miss the plot as far as like talking to each other and as far as being sweet. And I think you're right. I think the time when like you see it with and I like this, not even to sound political, but like there is a sense now that we're trying to be separated a little bit more.
Oh, 100% so.
And people's reaction to it is actually, for me, very surprising because it is so... The love that comes out of that is a little shocking. I thought we were too into the iPhone to like...
No, that's
give a shit.
Do you know what I said this election was for America? It was our fat picture. Do you ever somebody take a picture of you and you go, oh my God, I got to hit the gym. That's what I think.
You say that on stage?
Yeah,
that's dynamite.
I'm like, that's what it was. Because no matter who was elected, look, this is what I hope happens. I hope people step back from their own political thoughts.
Yeah.
And go, wait, that person over there, they might support Trump and I might support Bernie. Or I might support Trump and they might support Bernie. And you go, wait, but that's still my buddy Larry.
Yeah.
It's a human being. And then you step back and you go, wait, maybe the whole political process is divide and conquer. To begin with, and you go, let's just cooperate. Let's figure out what we can agree on.
How are the two people there? How are there two people we get to choose from?
Yep.
Two people. Okay, that's the start. And how are the two people so unrelatable?
Right.
Like, how are they so different from what Larry is?
Me and you. It's
so again. I mean, it's like we want water, and the option is Coke or Pepsi.
Right.
And so. What happens is people argue over which one is better. Is it Coke or Pepsi? But we all want water. So you're so far away. We all want very much like a similar thing. We
and you know what's starting to happen?
Huh.
I think we're providing that for each other. I think what's subconsciously happening is what you're saying. Like, how can I explain this? Hopefully people will realize you don't need the government, whoever is in control, to give you the right to enjoy your life. Like I would tell people on stage, turn off your TV, turn off the news, and just be loving and kind to everybody you meet.
Yeah.
That's it. And then it won't matter.
Yeah.
It won't matter.
If everybody subscribe, I mean...
If everybody's cool to each other...
If we could all pick a moment where we would all walk out of our jobs or we all went to the street and just said, bullshit, we're not doing it anymore, something would change.
Yeah.
We just...
If everybody just started to play kickball every day at 2:00, how much fun would life be?
That is how you do a protest. That is how you strike.
Seriously.
And it's everybody.
Yeah.
We all have to have a lot of kickball going.
I really do believe this. The ultimate act of rebellion or whatever is just enjoy your life.
Yeah.
Just make the conscious choice to be like, whoa, this is the youngest I'll ever be. I have my health right now. My body works. I'm going to enjoy today.
Yeah.
And then you live like that, man, and just go from moment to moment. What's the most loving thing I can do next?
Yeah.
You're winning.
Yeah,
Doesn't
so
matter.
You are just like this. That is that is why you're just like the kindest dude. I totally agree with you, but I feel like you definitely live that. You don't just say that; you live that.
Yeah, you just have to sort of like rewire your brain.
Yeah.
Like it's
Because
funny.
every time I don't even know if how much you talked about it on this podcast, but like the graciousness you have to like people you meet on the road and stuff is pretty. Like, there's always somebody who's getting joy out of the experience of being in a green room when you're doing stand-up who knows you and keeps in touch with you, you know?
Yeah,
Right?
I love people.
Yeah.
I love people.
That is,
But you know what's
that's
so
an easy
crazy?
thing to say.
Do you know what? So I remember during the dark years, I'm like, I just want to punch somebody.
Yeah.
And that process was slow and steady of learning.
That's
to
how you know
appreciate-
things. That's a good way to tell you LA's bullshit. Simone wanted to punch somebody. Simone was walking around looking to punch.
Well, you know what's really interesting? All the stuff people poop on the city for, my experience has been I came here and I learned how to live.
Yeah.
I didn't lose my soul in Los Angeles. I found it.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for
Well,
that.
there you go. Do you go back to Philly a lot?
As much as I can.
Yeah.
And I want to buy a house there before I buy a house here.
Yeah.
Because that's home. The people,
That's how I feel. I want to that's what I want to do.
right? Like
Yeah.
I love the food. I love the people. I love the sports teams. The community.
Yeah.
I felt like I was living a Springsteen song when I was spending my early 20s there.
Yeah.
And I felt trapped.
Did
and
you
I
start
felt,
doing stand up there?
Not really.
No.
I went to college in Baltimore, did some stand up then.
Okay.
Probably like 5 shows.
Okay.
Then it's like I'm like, now I have to get
What did you start with kind of how you are now?
Yes.
Stories
Well-
with lots of great actings. That's a medical term.
I think the acting's
The acting.
I think it's whatever we are is inside of us, and then we overcomplicate it and lose it, and then you come back to it.
Right. That's very true.
It was, I remember in June of 2000, so it was probably realistically my 12th time on stage.
Okay.
I won a stand-up comedy contest hosted
Wow.
by Pauly Shore.
Oh shit.
It was
Okay.
awesome, and I got my prize was to go to England.
What?
It was insane.
Wait, for what?
for the comedy contest. It was sponsored by Bass Al.
But you're going there to do to England to do stand up?
That's what I thought it was. You win a trip to go watch stand up.
What?
It all sounds like lies. What's so funny is I used to be so insecure. I used to lie all the time, like whenever I got drunk, because I'd want to give people a reason to like me.
Yes.
You know what I
Own
mean,
it, baby.
I'd be like, "Oh, you're from England, so am I." Like, I wanted to be liked so bad that I had no
I
idea.
drive
what
trucks for money too.
Yeah. Like just drunk lies.
Yeah.
And now there's so many things in my life that sound like drunk lies. I
I'm
would have
also
said.
Pauly Shore.
Yes, exactly, for sure.
Yeah. So and then sorry, but then so then you go to England and you just watch people do. How long are you there?
Like 4 blind drunk days. Lost my brother. It was so.
And you're just like they give you a hotel and they just paid for you and a person, obviously.
Yeah, I got to bring my bro.
Wow,
It was awesome.
that's crazy.
But the stand-up set I did then was the premise was I don't know how to get girls, and I never did. And I remember when the wheels fell off of my life was middle school, 7th grade. Then the whole bit was about a middle school dance. And I did this like worm centipede breakdance move to close it.
There we go.
The closer. And then
Off to England, mate.
Pauly Shore came out and we did the worm together off stage. And he was like, dude, you got to come to the Comedy Store. I'm like, I already quit my job, bro.
I just quit just now.
Yeah.
And then so when you came to LA, you had. I mean, did that?
You would think,
Yes.
but it got so bad.
What do you mean?
Like, all right. So I was like, okay, this is what'll happen. I wanted to get a normal 9-to-5 job and take screenwriting classes at UCLA
In LA.
Extension.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I wanted to be a comedy writer. I wanted to write movies.
Right.
And I still do.
Right.
But I was like, oh, maybe I could start to, because I knew stand-up was going to be so hard. But I got to town. I called Pauly's road manager, was this guy, Dean, who wound up eventually managing the Comedy Store. So long story short, they got me a spot once an open mic spot at the Comedy Store for 3 minutes.
Okay.
But then they're like, yeah, now you got to. At the Comedy Store, then they used to put a list out on Saturday nights. Saturday night at midnight, they'd put the list out for Sunday open mic. There'd be 40 spots on the list. 20 people got spots. You would have to find a place to park on the Sunset Strip on Saturday.
Yeah.
So pay for parking.
Yeah.
All the crazy homeless open micers would invade the front patio and scare away all the customers.
Okay.
Then you would have to come back on Sunday to see if your name got picked to perform the following week.
What?
It was a disaster. So,
Was there a carrier pigeon involved?
please, smoke signals.
Yeah, I mean,
It was awful. So, I had
the tribe of elders has met. Simone, you will get a spot.
I think I only got a spot once that way. And then what happened was I was delivering pizzas. Then Paulie's friend Dean gave me a job as a production assistant on the set of his independent movie.
Okay.
And I remember this one day, we started the day at 8 a.m. and Paulie passed me going down the steps with a couch like this on my back at 3 a.m. the following day.
Ugh.
And it was all for $50 a day.
Oh my
And
God.
I started off on craft services, but nobody else, we had to move stuff.
Yeah.
And I just jumped into it. And I remember after working like that, taking out the like legitimately busting my ass, Paulie called me that day. Like, we got home at like 4 a.m. and he was like, dude, and this is Paulie. He was like, I want to thank you for how hard you're working. And he goes, I'm going to try to help you get a job at the Comedy Store.
There we go.
So then I got a job answering phones. And I'm like, this is going to be easy.
Right.
So I go from answering phones, and then Paulie was like, dude, you want to come out on the road with me?
There
And
we
I'm
go.
just, but to sell his T-shirts and not
Still,
perform.
right.
And I'm like, this is cool. And then a year later, I'm managing the Comedy Store. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And I became friends with Dice. And he was like, you want to come to Vegas with me? I'm like, oh, Hollywood's going to be so easy. And then it was like 7 years after that I finally got my first paid spot at the Comedy Store. Lost my car. My roommate with cerebral palsy kicked me out.
Right, I remember
living with
that.
a 300-pound ex-Elvis impersonator, walking to the Comedy Store not to perform, but just to be around it.
Yeah.
So I thought it was going to be easy. And I thought...
Yeah. Well, I think that, I mean, you know, I mean, that is the thing. I think the thing that nobody tells you when you move to LA is that for the most part, the swings are just going to be so dramatic.
Yeah.
That it's almost like you've eliminated the middle class emotion.
Yeah,
You
for sure. That's a great way to put it.
You experience the things where you're, you know, at a fucking suite in the Hard Rock, and you're having a great time, and you're getting paid to be there, and then you have the times where you're just like, what, you know, where does
How am I gonna
my next
eat?
paycheck come from? What is next?
I remember
the
finding
blind faith you have to have.
$3. That's the way you have to learn how to live.
And you do. And when I my mother has finally sort of absorbed not the reality of what comes with my life and work, but that it's pretty tough to explain what's going on and what will be next. And, you know, I think for years she would always be like, you know, what will you do after that? What will you know? And I'd just be like, I don't know. And I am at the point now where I have like, it's almost like, you know, what a quarterback feels when there's a blitz coming. You almost just have this like, just going to hang in the pocket.
Yep.
Something will happen.
Yes.
And, you know.
Trust.
Yeah.
Faith. It's
Yeah.
so true. It's the only way to live.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the other thing about LA, because you become you have to be like scrappy. So you have to pick up other skill sets. So, you know, there's a little versatility to what you do, you know?
Oh, for sure.
You do stand up, you can do sketch stuff, you can write,
And that's where you
perform.
got started, right? More
yeah.
acting, writing, sketch. Because when we first really started to hang, our buddy Steve Byrne was like, no, this my buddy Gareth, he's just getting in the stand up.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this dude's funny. And this is how I put stand up. It's another language, you know, and you just have to transfer your funny into the language of stand up.
Yeah.
So audiences understand it in that medium.
Yeah. For sure.
That's all it is. Because you're already funny. You just have to learn how to take the funny from your brain and put it into their brain.
Yeah. Well, my background is like when I was in Wisconsin, I found out there was really I didn't really know of a stand-up scene, but there was an improv place called Comedy Sports, which is now a place that's all over the country.
All over.
And, you know,
do you know who Brian Irwin is? I think that's where
Rings
he
a
got
bell.
started too. He's
Yeah.
awesome. All right, go on.
But so I got involved in that when I was in high school. It was kind of my comedy store. I started like going there. I would hang out. I was like starstruck by
In high school?
Yeah, I started.
That is so. I'm so jealous.
Well, I
Did you go with what's your buddy's name again? Your best friend from third grade?
Brett Stepke.
Did he go with you?
So what happened was I basically when I started high school, like my parents were really like in a shitty place, and I was, it's a very confusing time.
How did your parents meet, by the way? If your mom's from England,
they met in England. Both
Okay.
my parents are
Okay.
immigrants, soon to be caught in
Please.
visa hell.
Sweet
but so I. But a guy, this dude named Andy Rostad, he was basically like, we had friends in common. He was a little older than me.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, I run the comedy sports for the high school. You should come out. And so I sort of joined this high school group, and we would perform there on Sundays during the day. And then he was like, going to college, and he worked there, and he was like, why don't you take my job, basically. Got me hired there
as
a ballet-
moment in time.
as a ballet parker, which meant that I wore a tutu in the parking lot. I must have been 16 because I was just driving, and I wore a tutu. And so when people would pull in the parking lot, I would I would show them which way to go, and I would pirouette around the parking lot and point them to spots. It was basically a useless. There was no. It was a parking lot,
and you got paid for it.
and I got paid by the hour, and I got tips. I had a tip bucket, and people would tip the shit out of me.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I would work there as a ballet parker, and then I started to host there, which was basically I would come up with a character to walk people to their seats. So it was all very sort of it's almost like bowling with the bumpers. It was like it was a very comfortable, smooth, like the ballet parker thing was something they'd already had. The hosting thing was where I could come up with
Genius.
shit and just kind of
Genius.
and then I started to do shows there, and I started to perform there a little bit with these
slow and
professional
steady.
guys.
It's the positive version of the negative we were talking about, where the
Oh, yeah.
changes are so incredible you don't notice it.
Oh, yeah.
You're becoming a
But
professional.
for me, it was like SNL.
Yeah, it was.
really
That had to have
I
been.
was like, I genuinely, and I talked to a guy there, and he was a great dude, and he told me basically to, like to try to go somewhere, like not Milwaukee,
Wow.
Yeah, and like
he saw your talent.
in a way, he was just sort of saying like, yeah, you're funny, you're young, I like what I do here, but I think about what could be somewhere else,
But you know what's so funny? I remember once having a drunk conversation at a corner bar in Philly where the guy, he was like, kid, you're just like, because I would perform in bars because I needed,
Yeah.
I had a lot of, I wasn't at peace. I was not a soul at peace.
Right.
That's why I'm able to recognize it in people. I'm like, I remember that. And it was my Farley years.
Right.
Where like I would just chug beer and dump
Right.
it on my head and buy strangers shots
Right.
and then walk home crying. Like it would just be drinking and crying.
Yeah.
Those years. And this guy had recognized it, and he was a stand-up comic that had quit. And he told me these stories about starting in Philly, moving to New York, and all of his open mic friends were now famous. And I remember him telling me, he looked me in the eyes, he goes, never quit.
Mm-hmm.
Just never quit. Get out of here, do it, and never quit,
Yeah.
and it'll happen.
Yeah.
And it sounds like that was almost like this guy
Oh yeah.
wanted you to sort of live the dream, to take the lessons he had and go.
Yeah.
Koi fish style.
Well, that
Bigger
that's exactly what it was. I mean, it was like a yeah. It was a night. It was a very like. I mean, it's a moment I just remember so clearly. Just somebody being like, try, like because there
such
is
a great gift.
Oh, it
Does
is.
he know the gift he gave you?
I don't think he knows.
Is he still around?
He is. I believe he is still around.
Find him.
I'm still in touch with his nephew, who I
Okay.
worked with.
Okay.
I should find him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there was a
Oh, we should do a podcast where we just figure. Okay, I'll tell you later. I'm done giving away ideas.
okay. There was a woman who helped. Because I went to Emerson College. And,
You went from Milwaukee to Emerson?
yeah. So I didn't. know
Oh
what
my gosh,
So
you
I
must
didn't know
have
what
been-
I was going to do.
Yeah.
Right. So I so like I kind of was processing what he had said, and then this woman got hired at my school to teach drama. This teacher named Joanne Woodward, and she, she put me in plays and stuff, and she was also.
And this is still high school.
This is still high school, and she was like, you need to go like pursue this. You need to go to college, and I had just not even thought about it.
Yeah.
I was not a good student.
Yeah.
I kind of didn't give a shit about stuff
Yeah.
in general. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I
Yeah.
liked comedy sports. I liked Milwaukee, but she basically facilitated this whole thing and got my application, made
What
me
an
write the
angel.
story, got me ready to audition.
Does she know where you are now?
Yes,
Okay.
she knows how impactful she has been, and I talked to her. Yeah, we still talk, and so she sent me off to these auditions in Chicago where I auditioned for all these schools because all I knew was acting.
Yeah.
Like I knew I liked improv, but I just didn't really know what the hell I wanted to do, and through that I ended up going to Emerson.
Wow.
And then that really is where I was like. Okay, now I kind of get what I want to do. I mean, I was writing sketches and I was performing sketches with a group of people
Already.
yeah. Oh,
That's
yeah.
incredible.
Immediately. But this was like an established group, and I had just kind of gotten linked into it early.
At Emerson?
At Emerson.
Oh my! For people that aren't familiar, Emerson's kind of like if you want to work in show business, that's show business college.
Well, and it is also, there's a downside to where like you'll meet people and they'll be like, Emerson, awesome. And you're like, I don't want to have this conversation again.
Gotcha. Okay.
But it truly was it wasn't even what I was learning at school. It was what I was finding outside of it with people who were also creative,
But that's what it is. I had a friend of mine who graduated at the top of his class from Harvard Business School. Genius. And he's awesome.
Sounds like a genius.
But he's awesome. He gets life. And he was like, you know what, Steve? The academics, he goes, everything. He goes, I didn't really learn anything new. He was like, he was a business major at Villanova, and he was like, same education.
Uh-huh.
So those classes just a little more intense. He was like, but it was the people I interacted with and formed friendships with.
Yeah.
It was learning from your peers.
Yeah.
It was being surrounded by like-minded people. It was about, God, I got to thank him. He was the guy that told me, like, don't limit your dreams.
Right.
And it sounds like that's what you got from Emerson. And now I'm starting to think, like, well, that's what I tell all the guys at the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
That are like, I'm never going to get past here. I'm never going to be a regular at the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
Or I'm never going to get good spots. I'm like, that's not what this place. You already are at the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
It's the community here.
Yeah.
It's hanging out with your buddies. It's bouncing ideas off of each other. It's here, listen to this. Here, audition for that.
Well,
that's what it is. And it sounds like you found that you plugged into that right away.
Well, the guy that my writing partner is a guy I met like my first month at Emerson.
He's still your writing partner?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
the
my
guy
dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, we started like writing sketches. We just kind of clicked and like have been I've been writing with him for whatever, like 15, 16 years, something crazy like that.
That is incredible.
Maybe more. Yeah, it's nuts. But but that is, and that's the other, like to your point, like that's kind of the other element of Los Angeles life a little bit that you maybe don't understand is that the people that you meet that are like-minded, that are your age, if you are here for 10 years, those people, everybody will be spreading their wings in different ways.
Yes.
And some will take glorious flights and some will move to nests that they had back home.
Yes.
But friends of yours will get opportunities and successes, and you'll
That's
have
how it all
successes, and
happens.
you know that these are good people, so you bring in good people to make you look good, or they bring
Absolutely.
you in to help them with their thing, like...
There was a point, and then also it's about like it's the opposite of being selfish. This business teaches you that.
Yeah.
And I don't I think like from the outside everybody's like, oh, Hollywood smug assholes, this and that. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of the people at the top are assholes.
Yeah.
But I know all the guys in the hustle, they're like, hey man, I have enough money for a sandwich. Do you want half?
Yeah.
Whatever that sandwich may be.
Yeah.
And like I think of people, some like, dude, if it wasn't for Steve Rannazzisi, I wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah.
Dude, that dude let me live for free in his condo. Like he was just like, I know you're going through it. Just, thank you, Steve.
Yeah.
I know you're not listening, but I know you're not. But dude, I love you and thank you. Ari Shafir, guys that we literally starved with.
Oh yeah.
Here's a job on a show.
Yo.
I'm going to fight for you with Comedy Central. They should put you on their network.
The reason that
What?
I started doing
Thank you, Ari.
The reason I really started doing stand up, to answer your question about Comedy Sports with Brett Stepke before, he went out and auditioned for it with me and hated how the people evaluated him, and he has like sworn off comedy, but he is still the funniest dude in the world.
They always are.
He still is like, he belongs on stage somewhere doing something or something like that, but he doesn't key into it as much. But like what I was about to say was that for me, Steve Byrne is a dude who literally, how I met Steve was I ended up doing we both
I
booked
literally
the same,
feel my face smiling
I know,
since you said his name.
I know, yeah.
He's an angel.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, an Asian angel. He's an angel, and but we did this show called The Real Wedding Crashers in Vegas together. For
Okay,
NBC.
yeah, I was going to ask. I'm so happy you're bringing this up. So it was you, Byrne. Who are the other guys?
Ben Glebe was the other guy, and
Okay.
the two girls were Catherine Reitman and Desi Lydic were the
Perfect.
two girls and everybody on that show outside of me has had great success. But so I'm living in Vegas for like 2 months in a hotel with all these people, and Byrne
Was it
and
like
I,
summer camp?
It was like yes, it was, but at least at summer camp you could like go into a field, and like in Vegas, if you live in a casino hotel in Vegas, your options become so limited as to everything.
Yeah.
So your options are almost kind of like, do you want to stay in? Do you want to like get a cab and go far away somewhere,
Yeah.
or do you want to go get hammered and gamble? And you kind of fluctuate between the lot of
Vegas
those.
is a dark, dark place.
Man, I think it's a place that as you get older, you're sort of like, I had fun with it, but now, like when I have to go there now, I mean,
you know what? I kind of like it now because this is what happens. Somewhere years ago, I stopped doing anything Vegas.
yeah, but what do you do?
Number one, do not stay long.
Well, that's part of the problem, though. Like, that's what I mean. Like, I've had stretches there where, I mean, that was 2 months. Since then, I've had 2 weeks before. I've had a week a couple times.
Yeah, it's tough.
Where like, it's where you really have like. Do you like the sound effects? These are done in
I feel
post
bad
too.
for this. This just sidebar Vegas.
Yeah.
One of my all-time favorite movies ever, and it really it shaped me. Whatever you're exposed to as a kid really does shape you. There was a movie starring Bill Murray called Meatballs.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the greatest thing ever.
For sure.
Nothing more. I mean, the
Movies
greatest.
you could, that and The Three Amigos I could watch 1,000 times.
Amazing.
Yeah.
They don't. Comedy has dropped off. We have to bring it back for the kids now. We have to. Stand up right now is the best it's ever been.
Yeah.
Now we have to take the talent that's working in stand up and start making movies again.
Yeah.
We have to. But Meatballs, Bill Murray at the end, he's like, "Yeah, I guess I'm going to Vegas. That's a party city. I'm a party guy." He says something along those lines.
Yeah.
So my whole life, I'm like, I guess Vegas is awesome.
Right.
And I went there for like a bachelor party in my 20s.
Yeah.
And within a day, I'm like, I'm going to go back to church.
Yeah.
Like they make Vegas and high school look awesome in movies, and they're both the worst places on earth.
It's so true. It really is. Yeah. And when you're there for 2 months, like I remember like I couldn't, there wasn't a grocery store near, like I couldn't, and I was living in a hotel room, like,
So depressing.
and I was like young. So like living in a hotel for a couple months was still kind of cool. Like if I had to do that now, the maid would probably be knocking for 2 hours and then the cops would have to break it,
Oh, Jesus.
Like, I'm just kidding. No, I would never. No, it's a murder. In my head, it's a murder. It's not a suicide. Someone murdered me. But Byrne said to me, because the show was, just an improvised show. It was like Punked at Weddings was what the show was. And I'm sure I'm mentioning this and everybody's going, you don't need to explain it. We all remember The Real Wedding Crashers on NBC. What a hit. How did we forget it? All the Emmys. But Byrne was like, you have to do stand-up. And Byrne was a guy who really laid out a realistic way for me to get into it and not... because and this is part of the problem with my stand-up career now is like the aggressive pursuing of all the sets. It's just not something that I I couldn't fathom it then,
Yeah.
and I still struggle with it now.
Yeah.
But he was like, get 5 minutes, you can MC for me,
Wow.
build off of that, you can feature for me. And
Wow.
literally what ended up happening, I didn't take him up on it immediately, but probably like 6 or 7 years later, he stuck with it. He was like, go.
He's the greatest.
Yeah, he really was. He was like annoyed that I wasn't heeding his advice. And then I had to move to New York for like half a year. And while I was there, I was just able to get, because I was friends with some comics, I was able to just, hit shows and start to say material out loud for the first time. And then, like exactly like you said, Byrne would bring me on the road to MC. I would get my feet wet with that. Eventually was able to, swap out 5 minutes for a new 5 minutes. Then you're close to 20 eventually.
Yeah.
Even if it's shit, he would let me feature for him. Then you start honing that 20, and that is
Stage
how
time for a comedian is the only thing that matters.
Yeah.
But to have somebody like Byrne shepherd you through the process,
And
he's an angel.
I had
He
no.
is a legit angel.
I really didn't know how helpful he was. I knew he was being super helpful, but after knowing now, like what going on the road is like with
Yeah, how
comedians
impossible it is
and the
to
variance
get that
of-
opportunity.
Yeah, and that time. I mean, and he really was. I mean, it's like as far as stand up goes, if I'd never met him, there's no way, unless there was another Asian angel who would step in and.
I remember
tell me
once
what
I
to
was
do.
like legitimately in one of those moments where I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to eat.
Right.
I'm like, the rent's paid this month, but I'm like, I don't know how it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I get a phone call from Byrne out of the blue. He's like, hey, Simone, how's it going? I'm like, hey, buddy, because I was so excited.
Yeah.
Just because he's cooler than
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, cool kid's calling. And he's like, he asked me about stand-up.
I've got
or
the
whatever.
butterflies.
Yeah, he was like, do you have any dates? What's going on? He's like, okay, yeah, take out your calendar. Where do you want to go?
Yeah.
And he was like, you want this one? You want this one? He's like, here, take this too. And then filled up my calendar. And I'm
Yeah.
like, guess who's eating?
He's done that for me before too. Like
He's amazing.
Yeah. He offered to let. I mean, now I'm just gonna. I mean, now we're just gonna inflate his ego. But
Yeah, he's not
probably
going to listen
listening
anyway.
either.
Yeah, exactly.
The show doesn't test well with other Steves. But he like,
Trevino's going, I'm listening, bro.
yeah, I got you, baby. But he like constantly is helping and advise. Also his advice in stand up as
always spot on.
practice was always so helpful.
Spot
for me.
on.
I mean, he like I remember like because there were a couple times. This is back in the Tommy years at the Comedy Store,
Oof.
but Byrne would set me up with like you can go there. I can get you on this show.
The friends and family
7
type
minutes,
stuff.
whatever
Yep.
it was.
Yeah.
And he did hook it up, but the first couple times that I went there, I just had never done stand up.
Yep.
And I bombed so miserably
Yeah.
because I was, because I was going up against real comedians and I had just written stuff that I hadn't remembered
Right, but the funny thoughts just weren't translated to stand up yet.
for sure.
That's
Well,
all it
and
was.
nerves are a
Yeah.
part of it, so you're
Oh, dude, whenever-
battling.
oh, that's the worst.
There's a multi-tiered fire going on inside of you, and like I really was scared off by it a couple times, but even then he was like setting like I mean I think of it now and I'm like that I
He
just
believed
again
in
I
you.
didn't
That's
know
all that
how
matters.
well wrong or right he certainly did.
No, it's absolutely right because it's like that there's certain like as we're having this conversation, certain truths that are transferable to no matter who you are and what you do. It's not about stand-up comedy. It's about learning how to live.
Yeah.
It's like believing in somebody, giving them opportunities,
Yep.
seeing the best in them until they actualize it.
Yep.
It's the truth. That's how you combat the misery of living. You don't make it about you. You make it about them.
Yeah.
Like if you make
Pay
enough,
it forward.
yes, but it's the only way. The only way to be successful is to make enough people around you successful. The only way to be happy is to make those around you happy.
Yeah.
Just the way it is.
Yeah. What's true? I mean, look, I'd vote for you. Yeah, but I mean, like there is. I mean, I think that is like, and that's another thing. And you do that through your stand up, and I like as I've gone on, like you're the point you don't even make it with your words, but with just how you are is that like sweetness matters. Like there, and that is like because when. I mean, and I've said this to you a number of times, I think, but there's killing and then there's how you kind of kill. And like the way that you kill is like, yes, people are laughing. Yes, people are clapping, but people are smiling because you've made them remember how great cereal was, or what it was like to, steal soda, or like what it's like to be a kid and with your brothers, and the nervousness and the stairs in your home, like all that.
And that
shit.
stuff's the best, because then it's like, wait, if I could see it then, let me see it now.
Yeah.
What's great about life now? And that's all I want to put into people. I don't want to make them laugh. I want them to leave feeling like, wait, this is a gift. Let me enjoy it. No, I don't get extra points for being miserable, because I spent years doing that. I went through my Holden Caulfield years.
Yeah.
Where I was so self-centered.
Phonies.
Like, everybody's a phony, right? And then I'm like, oh, wait, nobody cares if I'm miserable. What? That isn't, I was so blinded.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, wait, this is passing by. Time's passing. Life isn't in the future. Life is now.
I think you waste a good amount of time thinking that self-pity will help you in some way.
No. Yeah.
And eventually I think you just learn that it's like kind of the only person who's listening is yourself, and it's kind of making you shit, you know?
Yeah, like I'm all about like love and compassion and helping, community and connection, but then the other half of my personality is like commando, stoic, where I'm just like, it's up to me.
Yeah.
It's up to the decisions that I make. And I love everybody, but unless they make the decisions for themselves and take responsibility, they're never going to have it.
You know, I think that is why, like, you know, you make a nostalgic, you strike a nostalgic chord too, because you have when you're a kid, you are so innocent, and people remember that. Like when you talk about it, like there's this documentary that it's about like people with Alzheimer's or dementia of some kind, listening to music from it. These are unreachable people, almost like awakenings people.
Yeah.
And they put on music from their era, and not only do they activate like physically, but they communicate more than they did, and they actually have memories and shit like that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, so but I think that that is definitely a thing, like, you tap into with your stuff.
The best. I just love hanging out. That's all stand up is.
Yeah.
You just get to hang out with strangers.
It is. I mean,
it made me love
that's
people
how I met you
too.
through Burn.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I used to be angry. I used to be like, everybody sucks. Everybody's selfish. F everybody. Then I'm like, wait, these people, they built a fort out of blankets. They found porno mag in the woods. I want to hang out with them after show. Oh, everybody's great.
Well, and I think when I first got out here, like I mean, honestly, like friends of mine would get good things.
Yeah.
And my reaction was...
Your ego, you were why'd they get it?
It was not only why'd they get it out.
Yeah.
Shit, I hope it doesn't turn out well, so that they don't step out of my level, you know?
Yeah.
I want to be the first one to step out of my level.
Be the first one who makes it.
Yeah, so fuck that guy.
Yeah.
But then you're like, not only is that just like unhealthy, just
terrible.
On a human level, it's just like unhealthy thinking.
Yeah.
To every time your friends succeed, a piece of you dies. I remember that was like a phrase that I was like, yep, that's me. But not only do you realize that it's stupid, but it's also like it doesn't matter. Like your buddy getting a gig doing something that has nothing to do with you doesn't do anything for you other than make you have a happier, mildly more successful friend. And that's
I would even say, if anything, it's from the most selfish point. It's the best thing that can happen to you.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
and
they're your friend, and you support them, and they're like, what if your friend becomes Adam Sandler?
Yeah.
How great would it? I went to NYU with Sandler's taking care of all of his friends.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, we all need a Sandler deal.
Yes.
No, those
it's the truth. You need it. And then it's like, or like if the king of Chopin is like, oh, we caught a successful fish in that pond.
Yeah.
Maybe there's another successful fish in that pond.
No, but so not only is it unhealthy, it's so backwards. But that is how I approached it for a while.
How did you get out of that type of thinking?
I think when I just realized that it was so much less about what anyone else is doing and so much more about what you're doing. Like there's, the thing that has gotten me through the lean times in LA or the bullshit times here have been, like resetting, refocusing.
Yeah.
You know, and like whatever that is, if it means something you wrote got passed on, or if it means you didn't book a gig, or, you know, somebody said no based on your tape or whatever
For sure.
it is, like all those
You're going to hear
things.
no 1,000 times.
Yeah,
No,
so
100,000 times.
well, and the truth is, really, if you think about it, what you need to do is bank as many no's as possible, because the more no's you banked, it means the more yeses you've probably gotten too, because
Yes.
that's just how it works. You're going to get 100 no's for every one yes. So if you have 1,000 no's, you've got 10 yeses. And so like the more
it's a process. You start going, oh, this isn't an isolated incident that all my self-worth, this is my only chance. You go, oh, wait, there is no such thing as failure. There's only getting better through the process.
And the difference between how I accept bad news now and when I first moved out here is night and day.
I don't even get bad news anymore. And I know that sounds like bullshit to a lot of people listening, but it's just feedback. And I'm like, oh, okay. I know that. And now I'm almost detached from anybody's opinion. And I'm not trying to sound like a narcissist, but I'm just like, I'm on this journey and I'm constantly getting better. So I know eventually it'll get to the point where the results that I wanted 10 years ago be easy.
Well, and the last thing you want to do is operate from a mental standpoint that is scared. You know, like a lot of it is just like putting on a brave face. Like, you know, if you can understand that in your career or whatever, you're just going to hit a lot of stuff that is going to be really tough.
Yeah.
And if you just understand that, then you're like, okay, well,
That's
get
the
it.
best thing about getting older. It really is.
Yeah. You just kind of chill out a little.
You prove to yourself. You're like, oh, this too shall pass. I've survived this. I've got, these are patterns now I'm recognizing.
Yeah.
But when you're in your 20s, it's just bombs going off.
Oh, man. Honestly, like when I
emotionally was on a beach just calling in airstrikes. Shit's going down, man. I need help. That's what my 20s were.
I was like, I lived and died by like an audition. Like that was like where my head. Now I audition so infrequently for stuff.
Yeah.
Like when I do, it's like because somebody I know want. You know, the difference in that is, sure, there's less work I'm getting out of it. But how I feel about it is just so much better. Not sitting in rooms like waiting to go up there and talk about how great a hot pocket tastes, or like go read some dumb lines for like
so
whatever.
Sad. It's not good for your self-esteem.
No,
either. It's really not.
No, when you live and die by that, you just the difference between. There are so many times where like really every time that I've been through one of those periods where I'm going, man, I have no idea what is next. I have no stand-up. I have no writing gig. I have nothing.
Yeah,
and then within 2 months, I'll feel fine because stuff has come along. Things are, happening.
And, I don't know if you've experienced this, but honestly, the best stuff and sadly the worst stuff in my life, the big stuff, I know it's all culminations of the little tiny steps that make opportunities come and bodies. I get all that. But like so much good stuff has been so out of the blue, so random phone calls where you're like, what?
Game-changing phone calls happen.
Right. Yes.
Not a lot of businesses where game-changing phone calls just happen, or an email that you're like, wait, what is it?
It's crazy.
There's.
Do you want to do a show with Roddy Piper? What? Yes, I do.
Hold on, I'm dropping my phone. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
there's no way I could have anticipated that.
Well, that is why, like, when you're living off of microwavable pizzas for a year, that is in trade for your days when you get to go, have these amazing experiences at like a resort that you don't deserve to be at.
It's all so silly.
And all this stuff.
And recently, I'm starting to experiment with I was on stage probably about a month ago, and the energy started to get to the point where I was like, oh yeah, I'm building
at the store.
Yeah, I'm building this fire, and it feels warm. It's great, right? Like one of those moments.
Everybody's gonna get burned
because it was like kind of like it was a bad room. But we just started to connect with the audience, and it took it. And this guy yelled out a positive heckle. He was like, dude, have you always been this happy? Like, he couldn't believe. Like, we just started as a group, we were happy.
But that's because of you.
Yeah, but then I started to think about all the dark years, and I'm starting to write some material about the dark years.
Yeah.
But I have this.
You are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
That is
stuff.
interesting.
Yeah. Like I have a joke now about crying on a treadmill next to Denzel Washington.
Oh my God.
It's the best. So funny. So I'm starting to make sense of all that stuff. And that year of eating microwavable frozen pizza.
Yeah.
That's such a beautiful experience. That suffering's so beautiful because it gives you empathy
In retrospect.
and retrospect. But now, once you have that point of view, I go through the suffering, I'm like, oh, this all serves a purpose, man. It's gonna make me a better
you
person.
try telling the microwavable pizza version that this is a
when I
good
was
thing.
listening to Pantera and punching people.
I mean, I remember, like, I really did. I used to, dress up like superheroes for kids' birthday parties, and
Such
when
a
I
good
went
bit.
through,
Please just walk us through one of those days.
when I went through the darkest phase, it was kids' birthday parties, working construction, and I still didn't have enough money to survive.
Yes.
Because of car insurance. I'm not saying I was like dying, but I was trying to keep this apartment and I was trying to survive. And it was, that was it for, whatever.
Years.
Year,
I spent years like that.
Yeah.
I remember one year, and I know this will sound like an exaggeration.
I spent years like that too. I had one horrid dip where I was like, I had to go back to kids' birthday parties. Anyway, keep going.
When it happens again is when you're like, oh, come on, man. I thought I was done with this.
Oh, I remember thinking to myself, this is the last time I'll go to a Coinstar.
Oh, that's so funny.
And it wasn't. I
Yeah.
remember thinking, I've turned the tide. I'm never going to have to come to this thing again to get I was going there just to get rid of, to get my change into dollar bills. I wasn't there for the first time for survival reasons.
Right.
And I remember thinking, that's it. It's the swan song. And then I remember going to a Coinstar out of necessity again and being like, oh my God.
I remember when I first moved here with nothing. I had about $1,200, no credit card, no job, no friends, nothing.
Right.
It was crazy.
Right.
And I remember when I cleared out all the change in my car for McDonald's.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I still had that delusion of you just got to LA.
Yeah.
I'm like, 2 years from now when I'm in my mansion, I'll be laughing about this. And then I remember when I had to sell my baseball cards for rent. And I'm like, one day you're going to be so rich, you'll buy them all back. And then I remember finding $3 in a shirt from when I was drinking. And I'm like, I have $3. I literally had no money, no food.
Yeah.
And walking to a Carl's Jr. and trying to figure out what was the most amount of food I could get for $3. I remember that. And I remember going, this is as bad. But this was all within my first 6 months in LA. And I'm like, there was a joy to it almost where I was like, this isn't going to last long. You know what? I'm paying my dues.
But it lasted longer than you thought.
Oh my God. I remember 10 years after that.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I have no car. I have a roommate in my 30s. It's a 1-bedroom. We're not gay. You know what I mean? And I remember being like, this is the worst.
That's the exact same with me. Like I was like, I was so confident that like I would like, and I was at Emerson, like you were saying, where they have an LA program. People are telling you LA is difficult.
Yes.
I'm still like, I hear you guys, but I'm me. So that's not going to happen.
Everybody moves here to prove they're special. I'm different.
And you've been coddled in some way the whole time, being told you're good enough. And then you come out here. So I came out here, just like, man, what sitcom is it gonna be? Is the question.
Yeah.
And and just
what sitcom is it gonna be?
Yeah,
so
and
true.
just the.
Maybe I'll take a wacky neighbor part. Maybe
reading stuff. I don't know if I want to even be on Just Shoot Me to be on. You know what I mean? Just the snobbery of it all.
Yeah.
And then you're and then you realize like, oh man, this is a grind.
Oh, it's so tough.
And the odds. I mean that's the thing that I think everybody tries to impart on you, but you have to just learn on your own. Is that it's nothing to do with you.
No.
We're not saying that it's not that you're going to work hard enough, or it's not that you're not funny enough, or
That's
whatever
what I used
it is.
to think, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That added to the darkness.
Oh, yeah.
I started going, I mean, it took me almost 8 years to get past at the Comedy Store after Paulie got me my job there.
Yeah.
I mean, 8 years of hearing no. And that's entry level. That's not even on show business's radar. Took 8 years.
yeah.
Like, it took me 10 years to get just now where my life is now is what I thought would have happened in the first 2 or 3 years.
Right.
And
That's
it's been
a good way of putting it.
And it's been 17 years.
And like to your point, you now appreciate it because
So much
you
more.
understand that it's been earned. It's not you didn't like show up to a place, read some sides, and
that happens
and then
to
your life
people.
change. It does, but
People win the lottery.
for sure, and that's a mixed bag in its own right.
I wouldn't want that.
I think
I call that Elvis black belts.
Right.
I want to go through the toughest dojo there is.
Yeah.
So if a bar fight breaks out, I know I can choke out anybody.
that is such a great way of putting it. Elvis black belts.
The city's filled with them,
And
they know it. You can see it in their eyes.
Yeah.
You see it in their eyes
it's
where they
Putin's
go.
karate.
I hope
Yeah.
a real fight doesn't break out.
Well, and again, I mean, you're like, like if you get thrown into the wild and you're immediately put into a nest, you're not learning about the wild. And then if
No.
you have to get thrown out of that nest
You're done.
and go in the wild while other people have been in the wild while you've been in the nest,
Yep.
you're probably going to have a tough time in the wild.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of this whole thing called life, this whole process. When I after I realized, like, oh, I survived my first year and kept my sanity. Oh, 7 years later, when I finally get a car back, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I survived, man. I survived. And that led to confidence, and that led to, like, more belief, where you're
Yeah.
like, and then you start to realize you're put on this journey because I thought money or fame or I thought those things would bring me happiness. And then
Yeah.
you go, oh, it's not about any of that.
Yeah,
It's about choosing to be happy and be as loving as possible.
people you're around, again, I mean, I mean, it's that, and that, I mean, again, I've always thought to myself, I would like to write a book that is just like a survival guide to Los Angeles, just a bunch of stuff that I wish someone had told me when I crossed
Yes.
into California.
Yes.
Like that there was like, like where there's immigration, there's also like the reality board.
Yes.
And you walk in there and they just sort of like tell you what things are and how they work, because I had no idea.
No, I had no idea how to live life. Like, it would have been tough for me to, like, I didn't know anything, man.
Yeah.
And then to do it in LA on top of that was
Nothing.
soul crushing. Like, I didn't know what a bachelor apartment was.
Right.
All those years I spent with awful roommates, I could have just found my own small shitty place.
Well, that's amazing.
Do you know? I didn't know. I didn't know how stuff worked.
Right.
Because I was dealing with so many different variables. There was no time to think or come up with a game
That's
plan.
the thing.
I didn't have a day off for over a year. I was making pizzas. I was working at a gym. I was working at the comedy store. I was telemarketing. Not to have a day off, and you're not paying your bills on top of it, and you don't have a car, and there's no. Even now, it's difficult for me to learn how to relax. I find my work relaxing,
and focus on the like this, like your taxes. Like those are things that like every time I go to do my taxes, my accountant is like, what do you live in a box? Like how are you functioning in the world?
Yes.
With just like a handful of papers and like no idea where they came from.
Yes.
But as far as like writing something, I mean, oh my God, the amount of attention I'll focus on
Exactly,
that.
'cause that's
but then
how
getting
God
paid
made
for,
you.
But
That
then
was-
like figuring out how to get paid for it from like, if there's a logistical problem in accounting, I'm not good at figuring that out.
Right now, yeah.
I can write the shit, but
I'm such an idiot. Yeah, I'm an idiot with all that stuff.
it's tough. But that, like, when I was doing kids' birthday parties, what it allowed me to do, because it would just be mainly a weekend gig, and this is when I first got out here, was I could go and write, and I could work, and I could do sketch. Like, really, it was working on, like, the sketch group that, that was where I started with out here. But, like, it allowed you, like, you were always working. You always had to be working. You just have to, like, that's the mentality I've always had, that I'm sure we share. It's just like,
it's
it
East
feels
Coast,
weird.
Midwest.
If you're not working, you should be working on getting the work.
Yeah.
And
that's definitely what anybody that wants to work in show business, you have to work really hard for the opportunity to get work.
yeah, and hang around and
That's
stick
it.
around.
Never give up. Never get out
and
of line.
understand that a lot of people are going to say no to you.
Yeah, and it's all about persistence.
Yeah. Bank the nose, man. Bank the nose.
So true. Wait, what time is it?
That clock is wrong.
Yeah, I was like, wait.
That clock is dead. I just keep it up there because time is meaningless.
Oh, dude,
1:10. Yeah, so I gotta get going soonish.
Okay. Dude, what's your podcast about?
My podcast is called The Dollop. I have
see
two
it everywhere.
podcasts.
Okay.
But one the more popular one is called The Dollop, which is an American history podcast where every episode Dave Anthony, a fellow comedian and writer, will prepare a story from American history that I've never heard of, probably because I don't know a lot about history.
Yes.
And that he has not told me what he's about to tell me. And then he sort of teaches me this story, and I just, react and try to,
So it's a
riff on
history, social
characters
studies class with geniuses fun.
and the stories are crazy. Like it's
Do you think
not
any
like,
teachers incorporate this?
What's that?
Do you think have you ever heard from any
Yes.
teachers?
Yes.
That's so that's what it's all about. Talk about paying all teachers your heroes. Go on.
There are teachers who have recommended it to their students. There are, it is a it's just crazy stories from American history, and like stuff that even if you've heard of, there's stuff in it you haven't heard, and then we just laugh about it and really reflect on how, as crazy as it was that people used to eat people's hearts because they thought they were vampires. We have some irrational paranoia now,
Right now.
that we're dealing with, that in 100 years people will be like,
Well, what were they
doing?
thinking?
What are they,
Yes.
crazy? It gives you a way to like see the world now through kind of a prism that is
Such a valuable tool.
and among other things, there's also stories about like the time they tried to make a Pinto fly that ended in just
That is
tragedy.
awesome.
There's just a tremendous amount of crazy things, and the Dollop is basically Dave Anthony teaching me that, and then me just trying to make jokes where I can.
That's awesome. What's
Yeah.
What's your other podcast?
It's called Point Versus Point, which is with the guy that I was saying, my writing partner, Evan Mann, and it's a weekly current events debate show, but we
Awesome.
play sort of character versions of ourselves, and it never really gets to the issue of the stories. We just nitpick at each other and get
that's awesome.
personal. And I'm the guy. My character of Gareth on the podcast is, does drugs and is drunk all the time and is,
Panama.
yeah,
That's
it's just,
awesome.
Red Evan is a guy who really wants to do a debate show.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah, so.
And where can people find you? Where can they're all on All Things Comedy?
Yeah, both of those are on All Things Comedy, and then which is how great is that?
The greatest thing ever.
Yeah, like the way that they're
Thank you, Al. Thank you, Bill.
Al and Bill are really smart.
Amazing.
and doing cool shit. Anyway, but yeah, All Things Comedy, and you can find me at Reynolds Gareth on most social media, Instagram and Twitter and all that. But yeah.
Dude, this is the best. And
Dude, thank you. Honestly, like
I just feel better about life right now, and I want to go get ice cream with you before you have to go. Let's go do something fun. I love you, buddy. Thank you.
You are the best, and I just want everyone to know Steve Simeone is one of the greatest humans you'll
Yeah, whatever.
All right,
All right,
don't
thanks.
cut this out.
I'm so-
Don't-
Time was on our side, we had everything to gain. Let it be like yesterday. Is that the old happy days? My pa looked back on all the things they used to do. Never had no money, and they always told the truth. Daddy didn't need no little toys. Mommy didn't need no little
It sounds extra long.
I was waiting for you to go into it. It's
I
good
couldn't.
song.
I was rocking out to it because it's such a warm. It feels like summer right now in LA. It's like about 80 degrees right now at nighttime.
It's been so cruddy here the last couple weeks that this is
yeah,
amazing.
but we have nothing to complain about.
I know, but
Complaining about LA weather. Look, it was.
let's take advantage of it while we have the opportunity. It's the first time in the first 6 years I've been here that it rained more than 3 times in a month.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't remember ever being like this. But I'm grateful that we're no longer in a drought.
Me too. I was grateful that Gareth did this podcast. And once again, you can find him on Twitter at Reynolds Gareth. And he's the Dollop and Point versus Point, right? They're the 2 podcasts he does. And I think he's out on tour right now with Steve Byrne. Another buddy of
really?
ours. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I love those guys. Really are the coolest. The
And-
absolute coolest.
That's awesome. So can we talk about? I'm sorry that I'm pushing it, but I'm excited to talk about Children's Hospital.
Yeah, there's been.
Oh, but also you have a blood drive.
Yes. Oh, good call. Guys, I need you to come out this week. It's Friday and Saturday, the 10th and 11th at Children's Hospital. It's necessary. These kids need blood. Like, I don't want to go into all the details, but it's like they're battling some ferocious things, and the only thing that helps them is prayers and blood. So I need you to call and make an appointment, okay? You just have to sometimes, I guess there's a little bit of fear in the back of your head. People are busy. You're talking about little kids that are fighting for their lives, all right? It doesn't get much more important than that. You can call to make an appointment at 323-361-2441. Once again, in the Los Angeles area, it's 323-361-2441. And wherever you're listening, if you want to change your life, go give blood at your local children's hospital. It'll make you feel incredible. And the week we've had down there was just very, very special. There was a family we've been helping. And I don't even think we talked about this last week. I don't even know if you know about this.
I don't think so.
But there's a family we've been helping where a little boy was abandoned at the hospital when he was a baby. And one of the nurses adopted him because she grew up in foster care. And she didn't want this baby to grow up in foster care because he was fighting cancer. Okay.
As a baby?
As a baby. So now he's just a little guy. He's 3. And they need all the help they can get. And they need prayers. And all the medical equipment in the house was short-circuiting everything. So they were like, Steve, do you know, this is what we do at Regular Hero. Guys, if you can't give blood, give a couple bucks. RegularHero.org. The money goes straight to these families. And we also do whatever we can to make things better. People go, what does Regular Hero do? Everything we possibly can. That's what we do. So she hit me up and she was like, look, I don't know if you know anybody, but we're having an electrical issue. Do you happen to know an electrician? And then I just go to Facebook, Twitter. I go to social media and I'm like, who can help? My buddy Stevie in Philly, he's a master electrician. He called, he diagnosed the problem over the phone. It was a fire hazard. He told them what they had to do so the house didn't burn down. Then Johnny LaQuasto got another one of the families that we help. The husband and father of that family is an electrician. He cleared his schedule. Talk about a hero. Cleared his schedule and went right over to their house and made sure everything was safe. Now, here's the coolest part.
That's already really amazing.
That's already incredible, right? But then a very rich and famous comedian overheard me talking to one of the waitresses at the Comedy Store. And he said, whoa, what can I do to help? Like literally like a hero. Just was like, whoa, what's going on? Uh-huh. All right, how can I help? And I told him that, probably the best thing. I said, if he was kind enough to make a donation to Regular Hero, we'd send it straight over to the family. The next day I got a text from him. I wish I could say his name. He deserves to be praised. He made an anonymous $5,000 donation. So then this is what I got to do on Monday. Okay, this is how great Monday was. I had a meeting. I was looking forward to it all day about my Santa Claus movie. I got to go pitch it, so that was cool, right?
Awesome.
But I get a phone call from my buddy Raul at Children's Hospital. And I need you guys to pray for my buddy Casey. He's 12 years old. He's battled cancer his whole life, and now he needs a new heart. Okay, so he can't leave the hospital until he gets a heart. So Raul called me, and he goes, do you know this guy named Lance Stewart? I'm like, I do not. He goes, he's huge with the kids. He's a YouTube sensation. He's Casey's favorite person in the world. I need you to put a smile on this kid's face and try to track down this Lance Stewart guy and get him to visit. So I went to social media again. And my friend Mara knew somebody that knew somebody, knew this guy Phil, knew this guy named Larry. And it's just amazing how fast things can work when, well, I think it's a miracle. I think it's God. Because within 2 hours of me posting that, I was on the phone with Lance's manager. And then as soon as Lance found out about Casey, he went down there immediately to cheer him up. The absolute coolest. The absolute craziest, coolest, best.
Yeah, and I just like it. I just like
And
it
my
because
buddy
it made him
Daniel.
happy. It made him so happy.
Oh, so happy. We went down there and we got to hang out with him. We brought him pizza. We got in trouble. We're not allowed to do that again.
You got sent to the principal's office?
Yeah. And it's like, look, there's so many dedicated professionals down there at the hospital. I just want to get out of their way.
Right, yeah. You
know,
weren't trying to hurt anybody.
No, I wasn't trying to hurt anybody. I was just trying to make a sick little boy happy. And we're going to be best buddies. This kid, Casey's fantastic. When I went into his room, he was wearing a Beavis and Butthead shirt. And he was watching Louis C.K.
Really?
Yeah, and his Instagram is just like dogs,
Pizza.
skateboards, pizza, and knives. And what he really wants is Instagram followers. So that's one of the things we've been working on. And he already has more than I do, which is awesome. Nothing makes me happier.
Does he give you the business sometimes? He's like, Steve, how many followers do you have these days?
No, you know what I have to do? I have to make sure, oh my gosh, he's almost at 4,000. And his Instagram handle is Casey, Casey Fisher, Fisher 2022. So that's Casey Fisher 2022. And give him a follow. You know what I mean? Help him out.
He has really cool hair. Like his.
Oh, he's a skateboarder kid. I'm going to have Kevin Christie. As soon as he's healthy enough for visitors again, I'm going to have Kevin Christie go visit him. Because, Kevin Christie designs skateboards, and he's a skateboarder. And we'll see if we can snag one of his pro skater buddies to go down there.
I'm a little intimidated.
Oh, dude, guess what I just saw?
Tell me.
I'm on the marquee of the Comedy Store tonight. Somebody sent me a picture.
No way.
Yeah, that's really neat.
That still makes you happy?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Like, why? I would imagine some comics get all jaded, but it's that's awesome.
No, it's so neat. Oh, and then you know what else? April 8th. I just got a text from the Comedy Store when I was walking in.
Right.
They're doing a charity show up in Portland that they asked me. I don't even know what the charity is yet, but I haven't performed in Portland, so I can't wait. April 8th, it's a Friday night. I'm going to be in Portland doing a charity show.
Very cool.
And then we have our blood drive this Friday and Saturday, the 10th and the 11th.
Guys, call today. I'm not joking. I've tried to call the last 2 blood drives, and the sellout isn't the right word, but it gets booked immediately.
Well, let's hope so, because right now we only have 14 people signed up.
I'm signing
let's
up,
hope we can
and
crank it up.
I'll be there on Friday. If you guys want to come hang out, I'll be there. What time is it on Friday? Do you know?
It's all day.
Okay.
Friday's all day. Saturday's only a half day.
I'll be there during the day on Friday. Come and say hi. It's
Yeah, Friday from 7:30 to 4 p.m., Saturday from 7:30 to 1 p.m. And then guess what I get to do on Saturday after the blood drive?
I'm going to guess something really amazing.
Yes, I get my buddy Anthony, who I did a fundraiser for his school, Tierra del Sol, which is another great nonprofit where they work with adults with developmental disabilities.
Wow.
Lee, I got to MC their fall festival. I haven't had that much fun since college.
The best audience you
Singing
ever had.
with the band, killing, jumping. I was jumping off the stage, dancing, singing. It was the greatest. So Anthony's my buddy, and he's hooking me up with. We're gonna go. I've never been to the Pantages. He's taking me to a play.
Oh, it's a beautiful theater.
Yeah. So then I asked his mom. I'm like, all right, guys' night. Do I get to take him out to dinner afterwards? So it'll be sweet.
They have a nice Thai place down there, but that's really cool. I just imagine them carrying you out on your shoulders. I just imagine like you were the huge rock star.
The greatest.
That would be a cool special. Like just a special in a different location like that. I think that would be fun.
So fun. And you know what's really fun? I've been getting a lot of great emails from all of our buddies out there that are getting involved and giving back. And I'm telling you, man, it's the secret. Just take the focus off yourself and what you can do to make somebody else's life better. It's going to make you so happy.
It's I got to do something. I got a flat tire this week.
Did you get to change it?
No, okay, here's the thing, guys. I've changed one tire in my life.
Yes.
And I didn't even really do it because it was the 4th of July like 2 or 3 years ago, and this older gentleman was just pulled over on the 405, and I don't know how to do anything, but he had a walker on the side of the 405, and
wow.
I had to pull over to just see, like maybe call AAA or something.
Yeah.
And he actually had the thing set up, so he showed me how to do it.
Uh-huh.
So I did it, but then a woman who actually knew what she was doing pulled over, and she finished because she.
This is the best story ever.
Yeah. So that's like 2 or 3 years ago. So fast forward to this week, I got a flat tire. I don't know what I'm doing. I didn't even know I had a donut in the car.
Yep.
I did. It had the whole thing, but I didn't know how to set it up, and I don't want to break my car. So I called a tow company, I had all that, and an amazing thing happened. This guy and his friend walked by, and I was on the phone with the tow company, and I noticed he had a Toyota shirt, and he was looking at me like a Toyota uniform.
Yeah.
So I popped it on my car, and I was like, "Hey man, if I give you like $20, would you help me with this?" And he's like, "I was just about to ask you that," because he apparently had walked by.
Talk about a regular hero.
He had
That
walked
guy's
by with his
awesome.
friend, and he was on his hands and knees. He helped me with the car. So I don't know. There's been a couple years where I didn't have a bunch of money, but the last couple months I'm doing okay. I don't.
Good.
And I just looked in my wallet and I had 45. I was like, "Fuck it, we'll just give him the whole 45." I just folded it. It looked like a 20.
Wow.
It was less than I would have spent for the tow truck,
Yeah.
but just the fact that
He was willing to give. See, we all have something to give.
yeah.
We all have something to give.
I was so bummed out. I tried like 4 different tow truck people.
Well, you know what I think
I
my
had sat
next
for an hour.
dude, the next thing I want to work on with my buddy Kevin Cavinas, because he's a master. He can fix anything. He's got tangible man skills. I want to start doing those videos with him.
Oh yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
And
It'd be too much fun.
I'm just gonna have to come and sit there in the background just so I can learn all these
You know
skills.
what? The first thing we'll do is change a tire.
Absolutely.
How to change a tire.
Oil change. I don't know how to
He
do
knows
any
how
of
to
that.
do everything. He wants to put the new brakes on my car.
I wouldn't even know where to start with. Like I would literally not even know where to go. I know there's auto body like what is it called? Like the I don't even know. Like the car Ace Hardware, not Ace, the car one.
Let me
whatever.
tell you something. Going into a Home Depot or a hardware store is my new toy store. I love the way it smells. I love the different tools because you know what? Tools make a difference. The right tools make the job easy. Same thing with pizzas. You need the right tools to make the right pizza.
See, I know what tools I need to eat pizza. I do. I walk into a Home Depot, and it's like how I imagine my mom feels when I walk into an electronics store with her.
Hysterical.
Just because I have, I don't know where to go. I can't even begin to even look for the aisles. I literally have to have someone walk me around the store and be like, "This is." I tried to put up a shelf once in my house. The shelf
You know
was
what?
never
I'm
straight.
going to talk to Kevin. As soon as we finish this podcast, I'm going to talk to Kevin. You could be our celebrity guest on our first episode.
Trust me, you can have the entire video series around me because I know how to do zero. So
It's so much fun to learn.
I would love to learn. I saw this great story. And she actually ended up writing a book. This single mother with her like 3 or 4 kids, didn't have enough money to buy a house for her whole family.
Yeah.
So they used YouTube tutorials,
Yes.
and the entire family built a house.
That's incredible.
It was amazing. Just to, every time I see a good story like that, I just put it in like a Good Times folder.
Yeah, it's the greatest.
I would love to learn how to do that stuff.
The absolute best. So much fun.
I'm grateful for YouTube tutorials.
That's a good one. I'm grateful for YouTube and the joy it brought my little buddy Casey.
Absolutely. I'm grateful for people like Lance.
Me too. That have a heart. That kid's fantastic. Thank you so much.
And I think-
not to cut you off, but I'm so grateful for all the people that put me in touch with him. All the dominoes.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Phil, Larry, Mara, all you guys are heroes. Thank you so much.
And I think his name is Lance210 or something like that on
Yeah,
Twitter.
that's his thing. Yeah.
Go follow him. And I am grateful for good friends.
That's a good one. You right? Are you going to explain that more? Or
I'm sorry. I got this. I got to spend some time with Vicky Pezza today.
She's
I like
so
hanging
cool.
out with you.
Hanging out's the best. Okay, this is what I'm grateful for.
Okay.
And I follow this one Navy SEAL guy, David Goggins, on Instagram. He's awesome.
Okay.
And he was talking about how he posts everything about overcoming adversity and what to do when shit hits the fan. That's his thing. And it made me think, I'm grateful for all the hard times. And I said that on stage last week. And I think it might be this sort of perspective I write my next hour of stand-up from. If you're listening to this right now, and I know a lot of people listen as almost like their weekly therapy hour, like to refocus and get positive, think about this. All of the things that you have survived, everything you have survived, and all those hard times build better people. I'm so grateful for all the struggles I've been through. And I didn't always have that perspective.
And has time healed the wounds at all? Like for me,
for sure.
Sometimes when I look back on things that I was like I don't know about clinically depressed, but I wasn't happy. I definitely wasn't feeling great.
Yep.
Looking back at it now, and has no impact on my life. It seems so small and so far away.
It's all so silly.
It's
There's no reason to be like another badass that I listen to is this guy Jocko Willnick. Please check out his podcast. It's incredible. And whenever he gets asked anything, they're like, "How was it?" And he's like, "Good. I'm good." No matter what it is. And the truth is that is the truth. It's like there's nothing life can throw you that you can't hit back. I believe that.
even if it seems like sometimes I feel overwhelmed. Sometimes there's a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
But it just helps. Actually, Paula helped me today. Just take a deep breath. That really,
Literally.
it really does.
There's that guy, William Hoff, that was on Rogan's podcast.
Oh, yeah.
All those breathing exercises. It's all true. It's like if you could be miserable and then you just big breaths, hold in your breath, big breath, Tony Robbins calls it change of state, interrupt the pattern.
Oh, okay.
Where like, say if you're screaming about something.
Okay.
And then you literally can do some breathing exercises. And like what I start to do is I just start dancing like this and I instantly become happy.
I'm grateful for the fact that I like dancing, even though I'm terrible at it.
That's great.
I love it.
I'm grateful for all the people that share their knowledge. Wow, what a great time to be alive. This is the most amazing, wonderful time to be alive. Because whatever you want to learn about, you can. Like, you can follow Navy SEALs on Instagram, and they're going to show you breathing exercises. Steve Martin's going to be teaching a stand-up comedy class.
I saw that. That's crazy.
So crazy.
And it's not like you guys have to like apply. It's something called Masterclass. That's not a sponsor, but you can just pay, and Steve Martin is going to be in your living room.
Insane.
I'm grateful for... What am I grateful for? Oh, I'm grateful. It seems like a lot of people are getting jobs now. A bunch of people in my life who have been looking for jobs for a while getting jobs. So,
oh, that's wonderful.
And I know I see a lot of people on on Facebook and Twitter talking about it. So if you're looking for a job or you just...
I am looking for a job, guys, and a sponsor for Good Times, one that'll pay money. That would be great. Yeah, if you guys want to sponsor Good Times, our numbers are through the roof. Thank you so much, all the listeners.
It's amazing. It's amazing the
We've
growth.
like doubled.
Yeah, more.
It's incredible. And we've only just begun. All right, I got to go soon. My show's starting.
Okay.
Let's do like 3 more. Oh, we forgot to Periscope it. That's okay.
I'm grateful for friendly strangers and just...
That's a great one.
Yeah, I just like saying hi. Like I said hi to this woman in a parking garage the other day, and she said hi back, and I was like, oh, great.
It's the absolute best.
That's all it takes to make me smile these days.
So great. You know what I'm grateful for? Sunshine.
Oh, so to expand on that, I worked out in the park for the first time ever. It was amazing.
It's incredible. Good for you.
It was so nice. It was
the best way to work out is outside.
Yeah, it was the first day after like all those colder days, and I was on my way to the gym. Why am I going to the gym today? It's beautiful out. It was and trust me, guys. If you've ever seen a picture of me, I'm the palest dude in America. So I never go out and get sun. But if you're like me and you like being inside, just try it for like 5 minutes. It's great.
It is the best. I went for a nice walk today after the gym. It was wonderful. I was grateful for the sunshine. You know what I'm really grateful for?
Tell me.
Tomorrow, my little buddy Steven's celebrating another birthday. I'm so grateful for that. I could cry.
Happy birthday, Steven.
Happy birthday, buddy.
I'm grateful for kids' birthday parties.
Yes. They're awesome.
Because it really is downhill for birthday parties after about maybe 11, 12.
Yeah, double digits. It starts.
I was so excited for double digits.
Mm-hmm.
Who knew?
Who knew? You know what? I think I want to start I'm not giving away any more ideas, but I have a restaurant idea that I think would be awesome. Because I don't think you should ever wait to celebrate life until your birthday. Wake up every day and celebrate it. There's so much to celebrate. It's the greatest. The simple fact that we're alive and how easy our life is right now.
Absolutely. We could have food driven here from our phone. I was listening to another All Things Comedy podcast, the Monday Morning Podcast.
Oh, Bill Burr?
Yeah, Bill Burr.
I love Bill Burr. I'm grateful that Bill Burr knows my name. How about that for gratitude?
I would be great. Bill, if you're listening, my name is Lee. He had a sponsor for a drink that all you had to do was text them, and that's how you order.
That's so cool.
It was even cooler than anything I've ever dealt with. But yeah, I was grateful for that. That's really funny. I'm grateful that Bill Burr knows my name.
Yeah, I am grateful for that, and I'm grateful for all the people who have signed up for our blood drive at Children's Hospital. Once again, let me find that phone number for you. I know it was 323 something something.
Do you know the website by any chance?
No.
Let me look it up while you're looking for that.
Because it's going to be Friday and Saturday. I'm also grateful for Coney Pizza because whenever we have parties, King of New York Pizza always donates them.
I'll put my order in for 1 large pepperoni, please.
Okay, here's their phone number. You can donate blood to Children's Hospital Los Angeles at 323-361-2441. All right, Lee, I got to get to the Haha Comedy Club. I'm going to perform there and the Comedy Store tonight. So I'm very grateful to have 2 spots and all the people that are coming out to laugh. I'm going to try my best to take the joy that's inside my heart and put it in yours. Thank you to everybody that's rated, subscribed, and given us 5 stars on iTunes. Thank you very much. And a very special thank you to everybody that's bought my latest CD, What's Up, Nerds. If you want Cobra stickers, please let me know. Take care. God bless. Bye.